The fight world is buzzing with anticipation as a new era seems to be dawning in boxing. With major shifts in how matches are structured, the possibilities for high-stakes, must-see showdowns have never seemed more endless. Fans are dreaming of matchups that once felt impossible, and speculation about what this new era could bring has only intensified. Voices from across the spectrum of combat sports and entertainment are beginning to weigh in on the kind of matchups that they want to see, with one name repeatedly coming up in the conversation: Canelo Alvarez vs Terence "Bud" Crawford. Among the most vocal advocates for this fight is WWE superstar Big E, who has expressed his enthusiasm about a potential showdown between the two. In a recent interview, Big E passionately stated, "Oh man, can we get Bud and Canelo? Can we please get Bud Crawford and Canelo?" His enthusiasm echoes the sentiment of boxing fans everywhere who are eager to see these two elite fighters clash. As Big E puts it, "I think that's what all fight fans want to see." His excitement is palpable, and it reflects the general mood of the fight world, which is clamoring for this super fight that promises to deliver on the level of greatness that boxing fans have been craving. If this fight were to materialize, it would mark a monumental moment in the sport. Both fighters are currently at the peak of their powers, and a fight between Canelo and Crawford wouldn't simply be about titles or divisional supremacy, it would be about legacy. Crawford has been on an absolute tear in the boxing world, solidifying himself as one of the pound-for-pound best with his masterful performances in the ring. Canelo, on the other hand, has been the face of boxing for years, dominating multiple weight classes and building a legacy that places him in the conversation for the greatest of all time. Big E's excitement isn't just about the spectacle of the fight, it's about the fight itself being a landmark moment for boxing. The underlying theme here is that boxing fans, as well as people in the sport, are hoping that this new era of boxing will lead to the kind of marquee matchups that have the potential to define the next generation of fighters. Canelo vs Crawford, in this context, is seen as the fight that could set the tone for the future of the sport. The voices of fans, analysts, and industry insiders are growing louder, pushing for this bout to happen. The hype around Canelo vs Crawford is building rapidly, and if it were to happen, it would have far-reaching implications for boxing's future. As the conversation continues to gain traction, Big E took it a step further by offering his own prediction about how the fight could unfold. "I don't know, man. I can't root against Bud right now," Big E remarked. He acknowledges the significant challenge Canelo would present, particularly because of his size and experience. However, Big E has confidence in Crawford's abilities, pointing to his adaptability, speed, and mental toughness. "Gun to my head, I'll go Bud Crawford," Big E continues, showing that his faith in Crawford's skill set and mentality runs deep. This confidence isn't just hype, it's a reflection of what fans have seen Crawford accomplish in the ring. Big E's breakdown is rooted in the technical aspects of the fight, and it underscores the razor-thin margins that would make this bout one of the most competitive in recent boxing history. Canelo's size, strength, and championship pedigree give him a natural advantage. But Crawford, with his impeccable technical skills and ability to adjust on the fly, poses a significant challenge. Crawford's career has been defined by his ability to outsmart and outfight the best in the world, and this fight would be no different. His versatility, whether moving forward or countering, makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone, even a fighter of Canelo's caliber. This matchup, with both fighters at the top of their game, would be as close to a 50-50 fight as boxing has seen in years. One of the most intriguing aspects of this potential fight is how Crawford's mental toughness and ring IQ would be tested against Canelo's size and experience. In his analysis of the fight, Big E suggests that, despite Crawford's advantages in technique, he could see the fight going to a decision rather than a knockout finish. "I don't think it's going to be a finish for Canelo, but I think we'd see a decision," Big E explains. He's referring to Crawford's ability to handle adversity and maintain his composure in the ring, traits that were on full display during his dominant performance against Errol Spence Jr., which stunned many boxing pundits and fans alike. Big E recalls watching the Spence fight live, where Crawford's performance turned what many expected to be a competitive battle into a one-sided demonstration of skill. "We went into that thinking it was going to be a 50-50 fight, and it was not," Big E adds, with awe still in his voice. This impressive display left no doubt that Crawford, despite being smaller than many of his opponents, could dominate fighters who are thought to be his physical superiors. While Canelo is indeed a different kind of challenge, his strength, durability, and experience are all factors that cannot be overlooked. Big E believes Crawford's intelligence and relentless approach will give him the edge. Meanwhile, other voices are starting to weigh in on the potential hurdles Crawford would face in a fight with Canelo. One of the most authoritative perspectives comes from light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. Bivol, who has shared the ring with Canelo and understands firsthand the difficulties of facing a bigger, physically stronger opponent, has offered his own thoughts on the matchup. Bivol has faced Canelo before and knows what it takes to succeed against someone of Canelo's power and defensive prowess. When asked about the potential for Crawford to overcome Canelo's size and strength, Bivol offered valuable insight. He pointed out that Crawford is naturally big and possesses exceptional skills, but he also acknowledged that moving up 2 weight classes to face Canelo would present unique challenges. Bivol's assessment of Crawford is clear. While the skill and adaptability that Crawford brings to the ring make him a formidable challenger, moving up 2 weight classes is no easy task. "I saw him in Dubai a month ago, and I saw he's big," Bivol says, commenting on Crawford's physical stature. "He's one of my favorite boxers, and he's able to win this fight." However, Bivol also stresses the importance of adjusting to the physicality and strength of a heavier weight class. "There are a lot of things we don't know. How will he deal with the power and pressure at 168 pounds?" Bivol poses, highlighting the unpredictable nature of moving up in weight. He stresses that the ability to absorb punches and deal with the added power of a bigger opponent is crucial to Crawford's chances. The size differential between Crawford and Canelo is an ongoing point of debate. While Crawford is certainly one of the most skilled and well-rounded fighters in the sport, Canelo's defensive abilities, combined with his power and experience, would make him an incredibly tough opponent. Bivol's words add nuance to the conversation by reminding everyone that skill alone may not be enough to overcome a larger, physically imposing fighter. As the buzz around Canelo vs Crawford continues to swell, fans, analysts, and fighters alike are all pondering what could happen if the fight comes to fruition. The consensus is clear: this fight would have the potential to be a defining moment in boxing. Crawford's ability to deal with Canelo's size, power, and defensive brilliance will be the key to determining whether he can make history by moving up 2 weight classes and defeating one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his generation. But the stakes of this potential showdown are much larger than just the fight itself. If TKO, the knockout organization, and Dana White's influence in boxing lead to the creation of this super fight, it could mark the beginning of a new era in the sport. Fans and experts alike are watching closely to see if this fight becomes a reality and whether Dana White's vision for boxing promotion can elevate the sport to new heights. Ultimately, the question remains: can Terence Crawford rise to the challenge, or will Canelo's experience, size, and power prove to be too much for him to handle, and will TKO be the organization that makes this mega fight happen? Only time will tell. But the anticipation around this fight is already reaching a fever pitch. Fans are hoping that Canelo vs Crawford will become a reality and that it will be the fight that defines the future of boxing.